So back in my day at 91.9 WCAL, I used to cover Vulcans hockey, and it was something I really, really enjoyed. And I went to one game, I believe it was against the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown, and they were performing against the Cal U Vulcans at home, and in the middle of the game, they had to cancel the game because there was a hole in the ice, and they could not fix it. So they had to cancel the game, and they rescheduled the game, a rematch, to make up for it later at home at the Ice Garden. So then the game started. Everyone was excited. It was the rematch, two really good teams facing off against each other in club hockey down in the Mon Valley. And then the game was canceled again because the Zamboni went out and it stalled out in the middle of the ice, and they had to pull in a pickup truck, and the pickup truck literally drove onto the ice. It latched on to the Zamboni, and then it had to drag it off the ice. It took forever. They tried to fix it. There was no fixing it. They had to cancel the second game, the rematch, as well. That was at the Rostraver Ice Garden, and the people who work there are very good people, very hardworking people. It is a community rink, so there's a lot of effort that goes into it, and it was a shame to see it happen twice to the same team. In a way, it's almost comical that it happened, but I'm very glad to see that the Rostraver Ice Garden, it's the first time I've been on since this has happened, they have won this year's Kraft Hockeyville USA, which means that they will receive $150,000 in upgrades and renovations to the facility at the Ice Garden, and they will also get a Pens preseason game as well at the Ice Garden. It's a really cool place, and the one thing that I'm hoping doesn't change throughout all of the renovation process is I hope they do not lose that small time, that like community small time feel where you can literally walk right up to the glass and see the hockey players right there, almost like you're on the ice. I actually had a chance to go on the ice there as an announcer, which was a lot of fun. I was invited to be the announcer, the overhead announcer for a veterans benefit that they had for a hockey match there, which was really, really cool. It's just a really cool place. They have a little pub up above where you can get a beer and get some food and watch the game from the warmth of the building. Because the thing about the Rostraver Ice Garden is it's colder inside than it is outside, no matter how cold it is outside. So if it's like 20 degrees outside, it's 10 degrees inside. Bitter cold, but really a cool place. So we're not going to dive too much into this, but I wanted to give them a shout out and congratulate the Rostraver Ice Garden on a great job. I am Brian Crawford. I am the master of the Millvale Shore, broadcasting here from Millvale Studios on May Days. This is the beginning of the May Days celebration here in Millvale, a 2-day celebration where you can go from business to business, collect seeds, enter raffles. Tomorrow there's going to be a horse-drawn carriage here in Millvale, and you can come check out all of the awesome businesses that we have here in Millvale. You do not want to miss that at all. You can hit me up on Twitter or the Facebook Live chat. My Twitter is at RiverTalkPGH, and we're going to start with an announcement. We, as a network, are parting ways with Mr. Mike McMullen. He's been a political commentator here on this program, and he made some very unfortunate he made a very unfortunate and inappropriate comment on his social media page, and it's something that we here at the River's Edge just really disagree with that statement, so we've decided to part ways with him. And thank you to Mike for your work here in the past here on the network. So, I mean, I did have a good time discussing politics with Mike, but some of his views apparently are a little too extreme. So we will move past it. We will move beyond Mike. But that's okay. Thanks for your time again. This is May Days. As I said, you can come down to Millvale. It's going on right now, right outside this studio. All of the awesome businesses we have here in Millvale. So come check that out. The writers' strike may be averted, and we're going to get into a little bit later why that is huge news and why that's such a big deal, besides the fact that it's good that people can get paid and all of that stuff. But the last time there was a writer's strike, there was a giant calamity that overtook television. And we're going to get into that at the halfway through today's show. The budget shortfall, the state is, or the Commonwealth is looking at the largest budget shortfall that they've had in their history. So we're going to talk about that. And how do we make up the difference? What do we do to try to curb that shortfall? And we're also going to talk about radar, police radar. Should local police be using radar? Is that something you want to see? Is that something that you're afraid of? So we're going to talk more about that as well. Have you ever been to the Ice Garden? What are some of your experiences at the Ice Garden as well? Terry, you're looking at me like you may have been there. Have you been? No, okay, she has not been at the Ice Garden. I had a lot of cool. That was really a fun time in my life, being able to cover all of the Cal U hockey teams, and it was kind of fun because no one else at the school really covered them. The newspaper would throw them a bone every now and then, but that was about it. And I covered all three teams, and there were two men's teams and a women's team, and all three were really fantastic teams. And it was really an awesome experience to be able to go and travel as well. I went on a lot of road games as well. I didn't just go to the Ice Garden. I went to a lot of the other facilities, such as the one up here at Robert Morris University, the Island Sports Complex, and some other places as well. So lots of great memories, and it was a really cool experience because I got to get my feet wet in covering sports, and it's the only time I've really done it. But I got to do the post-game interviews, and I would meet players after the game and have, conversations with them. I'd bring them on the show all the time and things like that, and it was a lot of fun. And I hope that they get more coverage as time goes on, because they really are a really great team, a great organization, and it was really an interesting experience. And it's a shame that they don't get the coverage. I guess it's because they're club versus NCAA, but they still play hard. It's still a really exciting game to watch, and it was, I know one of the players, actually, and I don't know if I could say his name just because I think he's supposed to be private about it, but he applied for the ice crew for the Penguins, and now he is working for the Penguins, sweeping up and cleaning up the ice in between innings and in between different stoppages in play. So it's amazing what happens whenever you just jump in. But
they don't have innings in hockey.
Did I say innings? I'm sorry. I've been up since I didn't get to bed till 4 this morning, and I had to wake up between periods. That would be crazy. I would like that, actually, if they did innings.
Like 9 of them?
Yeah, 9 periods.
You need a bigger team.
You would need a bigger team. That is true. So, up next, we're going to talk a little bit about the music festival and about an experience I had last night at the season finale of the Haus mic at the Art House over on the other side of town. So that was in Highland Park. So we're going to talk more about that next, right after the break. You're listening to Pittsburgh's local music radio station, The River's Edge.
Hey, listen up for some sweet pizza discounts. The River's Edge is partnering with Frank's Pizza and Chicken to offer you 10% off your ZA. That's short for pizza.
Seriously? ZA?
What?
Anyway, mention you heard this ad and Frank's will give you 10% off your order of $15 or more.
Oh my god, have you tried their famous buffalo chicken pizza?
Oh, don't even get me started. Can you name all 4 Frank's locations?
Millvale, obviously. Troy Hill, Shaler, and North Hills.
Gold star. Anyway, support the River's Edge radio network by ordering from Frank's Pizza and Chicken the next time you get hungry for some ZA. And don't forget to mention you heard this ad so you get your 10% off. Go to frankspizzachicken.com for more info.
Offer good for a limited time. Order mostly $15 or more before taxes. Cannot be combined with other discounts or offers. Other legal jargon and whatnot.
Millvale Music Festival organizers received applications from more than 400 bands and musicians to perform at this year's inaugural May 13th event. We're overwhelmed. It was really an awesome thing to see. We had to pick and choose because obviously Millvale only has so many places for us to put people, said Brian Crawford, festival chairman and founder of the River's Edge radio station. The organizers, all volunteers, have narrowed it down to more than 120 solo artists and performers rock, jam, folk, jazz, metal, punk, alternative, and other genres at more than 15 venues, including Grant Avenue, Pocket Park, Millvale Community Library, New Sunrising Headquarters, Grist House Craft Brewery, and Bar 3. The festival will operate under the Millvale Community Development Corporation, and it has a nonprofit status, and it goes on. I know what you're saying, Brian. We know there's a music festival happening in Millvale. We get it. We've heard it. But this is important. This is a great article from the Tribune Review. You definitely want to check it out. There's great quotes here, such as, it's a great community event. One of the things that we exist for in this community is to serve. For us, anything that is good for the community is a win. That is Eric Germison, who is the pastor of First of Element Church here in Millvale. And there's also some great quotes from Liz Berlin as well, and you got to check this article out from the Tribune Review. There's also a great article from the Herald Standard, which you can check out as well, from the music festival. Last night I had a really cool experience. I was the featured performer, or really one of two in a kind of a co-featured performer stance at the Art House open mic, which was the season finale of the open mic. Well, there's something really weird with the Facebook Live. Let's see. I don't know what's going on with that, but I was one of the two featured performers at the Art House open mic. It was really, really cool, and we actually have a little bit of some of my segment, part of my segment, and we have that. We could throw that up on the web view, I suppose. Is that possible? All right, yeah, we can do that.
You ready?
Let's do it. Yeah, this is
finally have our featured artist of the evening, Brian Crawford of the Rivers. Wow, okay. Hold on. Brian Crawford of the River's Edge Radio. Give it up.
Thank you. All right, let's give it up to our hosts for putting this on. This is awesome with the live painters out here and everything. It is really a fantastic event. So I'm going to tell a little story about how to get promoted at work. An interesting experience I had. Who here works for a really shitty job? Raise your hand. Give me a yell if you work at a really crappy place. No? Wow, you guys all have really great jobs. Could somebody tell me where to apply? You've worked there. Okay. Ken has worked at crappy places. Has anyone else worked retail in the past? Okay. So you know that experience. You know dealing with nasty customers and dealing with all of that. Well, we're going to take a little journey as to how I got promoted at work at a Kmart store in Bell Vernon, which, if anyone's ever worked at Kmart, it's a difficult place to work, or Sears. I've worked at Sears as well. In fact, I at one point worked at Sears and Kmart at the same time while they were the same company before they merged HR. But I was out one night at college, and it was the first time I ever got drunk. And I was not one to really drink a lot in high school, or really at all. I kind of got exposed to it when I went away to school, and I really had no clue what I was doing. And I went to this party, and there was this cauldron in the kitchen. In my memory, it was steaming, and it was releasing a fog. I'm not sure, but it was what they called jungle juice. Has anyone here ever drank jungle juice? Well, my friend Randy makes some of the most potent jungle juice that you will ever drink. And he mixes all sorts of stuff together, and you do not taste a drop of alcohol in this jungle juice. I had never been drunk before. I didn't know what I was doing, so I just kept throwing glass after glass back of this extremely potent, toxic jungle juice. And eventually I got drunk, obviously. I think I had about 20 glasses of jungle juice by the time it was over. Luckily, I lived across the breezeway, and I don't know if I walked back or crawled back, but I eventually made it back home, and I made it to bed. And I woke up the next morning, and I felt horrible. I had no idea what was going on. It was so awful. I was so sick. But I had work the next morning, and damn it, I was going to make it. So I drove the back roads, down all the curvy roads, and I make it to Kmart. I go in, and I'm so sick. I'm so sick that I can't even make it to the bathroom. I'm just throwing up, vomiting all over the front end. And all I kept hearing was the loudspeaker paging for the 01 for a vomit cleanup. For those of you who've never worked at Kmart, the 01 is the bitch of Kmart. They do whatever they're told. They do all the jobs that no one else wants to do. They have to go do all of the carry-outs, all of the vomit cleanups, because the managers aren't going to touch that. So I felt bad for this poor bastard because he's just running around back and forth cleaning up my vomit. So then I'm in a bathroom somewhere or hiding behind something, throwing up somewhere, trying to hold everything in, and I hear a page over the loudspeaker. Brian Crawford, please report to the jewelry department. Brian Crawford to the jewelry department. And I worked all over the place. I worked in hard lines, soft lines, and it was my store manager who paged me. And I come over, and as I'm approaching, I also see the assistant store manager, who was my direct manager there. And I just thought, oh, shit. They know. I mean, they have to know. I've been puking for like 6 hours all across the store. So I come up to them, and they say, Brian, we want to give you a raise. And I'm just standing there like this, just breathing, no heavy breaths, just very light breaths, because if you breathe too much, something is coming out. So I'm breathing, and I'm kind of staring straight at them. My eyes are wide, and I say, thank you. Thank you. I gotta go. And that was it. I was back to the bathroom.
That's a true story.
On my way, but that's how I...
That's a true story from the Art House. It was a great experience. So we were there, and it was actually Jeremy Kaywood's birthday, who's a favorite on this program, a good friend of mine. So I went in with my story about my aunt, which I gave here about a week or two ago, whenever Nan Rooney had passed away. And I told that story, and then I transitioned into the fact that just recently was also my father's birthday. And it was last weekend we decided to celebrate, and it's like always a big thing in the families. You have to get together for birthdays, even though, you know, we've all, at this point, none of us are kids, but it's still like the family gathering moment, and you come together and you get dinner and exchange gifts and everything else. So I go out for his birthday, and every year we have this giant fat luminary candle that we put on every cake, because I have like over 100 luminary candles due to the Relay for Life. And that you have to listen to the story, because the full story's there at that Art House video. You can see the live video at River's Edge on the Facebook page. But we're there, and I pull out this candle for Jeremy's birthday, and I said, you know, this is you know, for the music family here in Pittsburgh, and then as birthdays go on for different events, you can use that same luminary candle. So hopefully we'll see that luminary candle pop up in the future. But it was definitely a really fun experience, and that's the first time I've ever been a featured act. So I've done a few stories before as a host, and I've also just one time at the Art House I just went up and told a story, but that's the first time where I was like the featured act, and it was a lot of fun, and I look forward to hopefully doing it again. The audio was great, the video was it's a really cool spot to catch a video. The lighting in there is kind of interesting. It's all homemade lighting, which is kind of fun, but if you look at the pictures from the Art House, you'll see that the lighting is really, really cool. It's a weird mic because it's a private mic, but it's not a private mic. So it's a private mic, it's invitation only, but anybody can be invited. And they've done that basically for zoning reasons, so that way they can say it's not they're not using the place as a venue, it's just a private party. So if you ever want to go, they're going to be moving from every week at Thursday to every 13th on the month starting in June. So starting June 13th, it'll be the 13th of every month. You can check out the Art House open mic and experience some of that. But it was a lot of fun. You can probably catch more stories of mine, not only obviously here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I hope to do more of this where I can go out to the open mic scene and kind of tell some stories out there, because it's fun to do it in front of a crowd. Because, you know, you put a lot of work into these stories, and it seems like a lot of fun, but when you do it in front of a crowd, I don't know, the reaction that you get and the way you're able to feed off of it, it definitely makes a huge difference. So, but it was fun. So come on out to the music festival. Maybe I'll tell a story at one of the stages, but you won't know unless you show up and you check it out. We've got amazing hosts, and that was another nice thing about the Art House event, and they had live painters there, which was cool. But they really promoted the music festival all night, which was really cool, and I really appreciated that from all of them. So thank you to Liz, and Sarah for making that work and getting that all together and connected. So we're going to go on another quick break, and when we do, right after the break, we are going to talk. I'm going to tell you why you should be thankful that the writer's strike was averted, at least temporarily. That's around the corner here on the River's Edge. Brian Crawford here to tell you that Millvale May Days is the perfect way to discover Millvale. May 5th and 6th, you can explore Millvale, shop local by touring our business district, and collect seeds for your garden. All participating stops have maps of the tour and a chance to win raffles. If somehow that wasn't enough, we'll have horse-drawn carriage rides Saturday, 12 to 4, and information on joining Millvale's sustainability movement available at Gap Park. For more information, follow the Business Association of Millvale on Twitter and Facebook at BAM15209. Okay, so there is a reason why you need to be grateful that the writers and the production companies and everything, why they have all come to an agreement and why there is no writer's strike. And the answer to that, you have to go back in time to the last time there was a writer's strike in the birth of the reality TV show. Yes, reality TV shows became a big thing because they didn't have to pay writers, at least not the same way that they have to pay for like a sitcom or something like that. So we have been now inundated with reality TV non-stop everywhere. Even like the History Channel is reality TV. Some of them can be entertaining, but enough is enough. So if there was another writer's strike, who knows what could have come out. Do you have a favorite reality TV show, Tara?
Of all time?
Yes, or just or currently all time, anyway.
Probably The Real World.
That's the one that was on MTV? Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that about? See, I don't watch reality
That was
TV.
just seven young people picked to live in a house and like what will happen. And they just have a lot of sex and drink a lot.
And the thing
in
is
different places in America and around the world.
The thing is like not just that place, but there are no reality TV shows for the most part that are real.
Well, there's always a writing credit, for example.
Yeah.
So there's always writers on those shows. But...
Exactly. And another thing with those types of shows too is I just know from somebody who I know in the industry, and whenever they have like 30 seconds of somebody like talking to a camera, they're recording them for hours. American, what is it? Americans, not Talent, but American Idol. They'll have them sit down and they'll like do like a 3-hour interview, and they'll take like 30 seconds out of it to kind of tell the story that they want you to hear. So yes, technically it's real, but it's not
chopped
really.
And screwed.
It's chopped, and it's made to look a certain way and fit a certain
demographic.
Or a certain story that they want to push. The one reality show I did like was Parking. Was it Parking Wars? No, not Parking Wars. Maybe it was Parking Wars. It's the one that it was the Philadelphia like meter people.
That sounds awesome.
It was great, and you could tell that it was
drama.
Yeah, well, there was, but it was like not fake drama. Like nothing about this show seemed staged or performance based. Like the people walking were just like average people, the people who were ticketing and things like that, and their responses were
I like those kind of shows.
Yeah, they were not like super. It wasn't like the repo shows, like Repo Men, where like they've got like the people screaming and yelling and jumping on cars and ready to fight, or Dog the Bounty Hunter coming in with his tasers, to take people down. I think he uses tasers, but
can you tase someone?
Yeah, well, his thing is he doesn't use guns. That's his big thing. He doesn't believe in using guns. So so he uses all of these other ways to catch people.
Bounty hunting.
But he does not use guns. But no, the Parking War was great. Like it took place in Philadelphia. Actually, it's the Philadelphia parking people. But it's like the reactions are so real, and you can even tell like the camera. It's not like the perfect cinema camera view. It's just like they probably use a lot of the cameras that are there and stuff like that.
Cool.
but they will talk with these people, and if you work any kind of a normal job, the people there just remind you of the average person that is on the job with you, and it's really a cool little show. I don't know. That's the one reality show that I like. I don't like most of them though. I guess I like Storage Wars because of that old guy with the skeleton hands.
I've never seen Storage Wars.
You never saw Storage Wars?
No.
Oh, you got to see it. It's interesting. But I don't know. I liked the world better before we had a million reality TV shows.
Yeah, we don't need a million.
Yeah, I think a couple of them are okay, especially if it's something unique, but you get so many of the same show.
Or maybe they're also unique. Because the people are different.
The people
Even
are
if the
different.
situations might be.
But like, how many storage shows can you see? Like, I liked Storage Wars, but do you need?
That's a great question.
Like 10 storage shows?
That's not the right, and obviously that's not like the rationale behind the movie company's decision making. They're not like, do we need more of this, or like, what's gonna this other thing worked and we're gonna do it too.
Well, that's a big thing. That's why we have all these remakes, which is awful. I hate the remake situation where we're just going to rehash old movies, old stories. Heaven forbid we come up with anything new. So, yes, I'm with you.
We like a
there.
sure thing. Or they
Well,
do.
the movie industry does, yeah, because...
They do a lot of money.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Nobody wants to take a risk.
Right.
And it's a shame because... Yeah, I mean, you're going to make, the next Marvel movie or whatever, and it's going to sell well. But something like Star Wars was a huge risk. Nobody wanted it, but look at the payoff. So,
yeah,
if you're willing to take a risk on something, Avatar was probably a risk in a way, even though the storyline for Avatar was kind of overdone. The blue people Avatar.
No, there was lots of things that were amazing about that movie, and the story was definitely not one of them.
No,
neither was the acting.
No, but the special effects were unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to be, is a blue creature living in a far-off planet.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
So if you were a blue creature, what would you do?
I would hunt with the spears that I made, and I'd fly around through the canyons on some creature, dinosaur type thing, and that'd be it.
That'd be it? Just live the life.
Yeah, that we were supposed to live.
Now, how would you feel about the humans that are coming?
I would feel terrible about the humans that were coming.
What if you gave them an olive branch and you?
It never works.
Into friends.
Not in the history. When do humans ever take the olive branch?
It's a good question.
But I guess I wouldn't know.
That's a good question. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I mean, it really is.
It's a permanent Lord of the Flies situation down here.
Yeah.
We're all just fooling ourselves.
Yeah, it's terrible. You know what? There are a lot of efforts towards peace. I will say. Yeah, there are a lot of efforts towards peace. They just are not universal yet. So maybe that's something hopefully we could strive for. There are peacekeeping efforts, but it depends on if you're on the in crowd or the out crowd.
Yeah, and like we are like focusing on healthcare right now in these kind of demonic political ways rather than like thinking about what people actually need or what is going on in South Sudan, for example, or all kinds of...
the healthcare issue is important here.
It's important, but I don't agree that it is being handled in a way that makes it feel important.
Well, that's for sure. They're rushing it through. They're definitely not treating it as if it matters.
Like, I don't feel like they have my best interest in mind or the average person's best interest in mind. It doesn't feel that way.
We were talking about, I believe we were talking about it on the 99th day of Trump. And we were talking about how artificial the 100-day benchmark is. And personally, I look at it as a negative. Do you want a president who's just going to rush things through so that way he could say, look what I accomplished in 100 days? Or would you rather a president who takes his time and works with Congress to craft a piece of legislation that's actually going to be beneficial for everybody?
Well, the Republicans were always saying that this is what was going to happen. Like, we're going to get in there and we're going to gut the whole thing, We're going to, like, undo things that Obama did. And so that was what they set up from the beginning.
To be fair, the Democrats rushed a lot of things through once they, when they had all of their ducks in a row as well. It's just the thing that they do, but it's not right, and that's the thing. I would rather... Like this healthcare thing, it's like they've been complaining about it for almost 10 years. It's like, you had time to come up with something.
Yeah, I don't actually ever believe that that Paul Ryan is sitting behind a computer or like in a library thinking about, okay, like how are we going to solve this healthcare crisis? Like how can we do this best as we possibly can? Like knowing everything we know with the resources we have and the Republicans in power, like we can do this thing. But like I don't believe that that's ever happening.
No, I don't think it's ever happened either. I mean, look at the way the last one came through. And even this one, they're saying
they're not like actually trying to make a good thing.
No, they're just trying to
and I feel embarrassed for them. Like, kids are gonna learn about this in history class one day, and like you're gonna be the fucking idiot who was doing, I don't know, licking your own asshole.
It's awful. I mean, they're trying to fill out checks on a list. They're trying to check things off a list instead of just doing.
But like, what's the end? What is the like? What do you get at the bottom when you accomplish everything?
Re-election.
And then what? Like money or like what is the? It's just
that's power, which allows you to get money through lobbyists and set yourself up after the fact with this company or that company or this or that. It's awful. It's not right. That's not what you're voted in for, or that's not what you should be voted in for. Man. But that's the way it seems like the game is played. It's terrible.
I don't like know how we ever have you can't have a logical conversation about like the policy. I don't know. I don't feel like it makes any sense to me ever.
Well, nobody ever has actual conversations on policy. It's just what can we... Oh, wait. Okay, so Steve, we'll get onto this. It's just talking points and it's buzzwords for the news, and that's...
But we don't move forward, right? It's just like that keeps you in the same place forever.
Yeah, well, I mean... Yeah. Have we really moved forward? I mean, I don't know. I feel like...
In lots of ways, yeah, and in other
ways,
crucial ways, no.
So speaking of reality TV, Steven says that he likes The Deadliest Catch, Gas Monkey, Garage. I haven't seen that one.
All of like the Animal Planet stuff is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, I know The Deadliest Catch. My sister... What's that?
Is that a Discovery Channel one?
I think so.
That's a good one.
But my sister met the guy. One of the guys who's on that show is originally from Irwin, which is like near, like right in the area where I grew up. And apparently he's like a local star there, and they had him in the parade and everything else. But my sister will see him every once in a while at a store, and she'll run up and get her picture taken with him and everything else. So she's a huge fan.
I thought The Deadliest Catch was that British guy.
I don't know. That's the one where they're fishing.
Yeah, what is that called then? River Monsters.
Okay,
Never mind.
probably.
I don't know what The Deadliest Catch is.
Yeah, Deadliest Catch is like ice water fishing, like out in the middle of the ocean.
The crab one is good too.
I don't know that one.
In Alaska.
So Pennsylvania is nearing the end of its fiscal year, and they have a $1.2 billion shortfall in the budget from what's coming in. And when are they going to legalize weed?
Dude, I was thinking the same thing, except that kind of, I don't know, maybe that's amoral. Like, maybe, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing.
Being like, hey, buy these drugs so that we can get tax money.
Well, that's a good point, but they've done that with everything else.
Not that I don't smoke weed, because I do.
Yeah, and the thing is they do that with alcohol, and they do that with...
Alcohol is legitimate poison, like, well-marketed poison, perfectly marketed poison, and like I don't feel that way about marijuana.
Well, my thing is if they're going to sell alcohol and tax it, why not sell weed and tax it? What's the difference? And that's where I stand.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it. I think it's definitely something we should do. It would solve our problems, and it would honestly, it would make, to me, it would make the streets safer. And I have strongly...
But that also is not going to cover the budget this year.
No, not this year, but I think it's something that we need to look at to aid us as we move forward. So, my big thing, I do not believe weed is a gateway drug as far as, oh, if you smoke weed, you have to smoke something else or get a bigger high or something like that. That doesn't make sense to me. But I do think that it's a gateway in the sense that if you're buying it illegally, if you're at some sort of shady dealer, he's going to try to upsell you or get you into other things. So I think...
I think that's just one... I don't know. I think all kinds of people sell drugs and all kinds of people buy drugs. And that's just like one trope example.
True,
and it's not representative of...
Not of everybody, but I think it's something that exists, especially if like younger people, they don't know who they're buying from or what they're getting, and then they could get even weed that's laced with stuff. Whereas if you legalized it, you could regulate it, and then you have a product that is safe. It's not laced with some mysterious X drug.
No, the government would never do that. They'll always
Well.
protect us from everything.
Not that I trust the government, but I also don't trust the guy on the corner either. So,
I just want to be able to grow it in my backyard, you know?
well, that would be cool too. Yeah,
that
I
won't
think that would be.
happen.
Yeah, that won't happen because they're not going to make any money off of that.
Yeah.
But I'm a big proponent of legalization. I think that could help.
It's inevitable. And
Yeah.
also, it's going to make people's lives better in a lot of instances.
Yes. Are you in favor or opposed to local police using radar for catching speeders?
In favor.
I'm opposed.
Okay.
So why are you in favor?
Because don't you need some kind of proof that you were...
Well, they have VASCAR
Speeding?
now where they time people, so it's set up in specific locations.
So is... okay. So, like, everywhere? Or what is that?
No, it's only in specific locations in
Yeah.
different towns. So my thing is, I don't have nothing against the police because the police, they want the radar. I don't trust the politicians, and I know that they're trying to pass a law to where it's not going to become a money-making scheme, but eventually it's going to become a money-making scheme for struggling municipalities. Or
That you have to buy radar? Or...
No, that they're going to use radar as a way to collect revenue through fees and tickets and things like that. So now all of a sudden, enforcing speeding limits is not about public safety. Now where it's about making money for the municipality. I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And you know that's eventually where it's going to go. And our speeds...
It's already there, right?
in a way, but
do that
it's...
to make quotas and...
Legally, they're not
I don't know
allowed
what-
to, but...
Really?
Wink, wink.
That's what everyone's always like told me anyway. Like, oh, the end of the month, like, watch out.
Yeah, legally,
I don't really know if
legally
that's
they're not allowed
true.
to do that, but I think that sometimes it's kind of expected.
You can
type
get those
of a
things
deal.
in your car that
Which
can
is
sense the radar.
which is illegal, actually.
I know. Well, that's
Yeah.
not fair. But my
I
dad
know.
always had one.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing.
But it gets set off by like automatic doors at grocery stores and shit.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah.
Well, my thing is like, it's not that I don't trust the police. I don't trust the politicians at all to handle this type of situation and not turn it into a money-making situation. Plus, our speed limits are artificially low. And I don't think it's necessarily intentional, but the way that they will put a speed limit out in many cases is they will do a study, and they will study the flow of traffic, the natural flow of traffic, to see what speeds people are traveling at. Well, that has been done a long time ago. These have not been updated, and cars are faster now. The natural flow of traffic is faster. A speed limit isn't supposed to be just an artificial number to, hold people down. It's supposed to be the natural flow of traffic, and it's supposed to stop radical people from going crazy and, going 100 miles an hour down, Route 28, for example, which is unnecessary.
Fun though.
To some people, sure. I'm opposed, vehemently opposed, and I see it's back in the news. I just wanted to touch base on that as well. So, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we have an interesting weird news story about Colonel Sanders. It's a sex story, and it's coming up after the break here on the River's Edge.
Hey, it's Mike Sasson. Guess what? You used to love us at 10. You're going to love us even more at 9. It's me. It's Alex. It's funniness. It's guests. It's all sorts of me yelling into microphones only 1 hour earlier. It's exactly what you need at 9 o'clock. It's like a shot of adrenaline. It's the Mike Sasson Show, now starting at 9 o'clock on Tuesday on the River's Edge, a new kind of radio.
KFC tweets, give mom her true heart's desire this Mother's Day, a family meal and a romance novel featuring Colonel Sanders. Tender Wings of Desire, which is the name of the story, tells a story of rebellious lady Madeline Parker who falls for Harold Sanders, a handsome sailor with a mysterious past. It's set in a Victorian England, and it's 96 pages long. Wow. So I think that KFC is trying to compete with Burger King for the creepiest mascot available. Remember, like, the old king who was kind
Yeah.
of creeping around?
Is he not
Everyone
around
was-
anymore?
I don't see him as
Or
much.
Ronald McDonald?
Do you think he's creepy?
Do you not think he's creepy?
I don't think he's intentionally creepy. If he is creepy, I think it's more just like it's weird that there's a
A
clown
byproduct
that's-
of being a clown.
Yeah, but you know, the Burger King they went out of their way to make him creepy. Like with McDonald, they tried to make him good for kids. I don't think they were going for creepy with him.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I think the King they were
It's
going
reasonable.
for creepy.
He was more of an adult kind of.
Yeah, and with the Sanders, with this whole
Mascot.
love story thing. So apparently, like, Colonel Sanders, like, when he actually lived, he would, like, randomly show up at different KFCs and throw tantrums because the chicken was not up to standard. So he was very particular about the chicken. But, yes, there is a new novel, Tender Wings of Desire. You can check it out. The article comes from CNN Money, so you can check that out. But you can check the book out. They have a little video, a promo video as well. You can check out on the KFC Twitter handle, which is @KFC.
Can you buy it at KFC?
Let's see. It's the novella is part of a marketing campaign for KFC's $20 fill-up meal. Let's see. Where can you buy this thing?
At your local
I
Rite Aid.
didn't plan to
Wait,
actually
is this
buy
not
it.
a sex book?
It is a sex book, yeah.
Oh, okay.
About
You
chicken
probably
wings and
can't buy it.
they probably have it in
KFC.
store. That would be my guess.
Really?
It's probably. I would guess so. Where
Wait,
else
what
would
do you mean
buy
in
it?
store?
Like in the actual KFC. Where else
You
would
think
you
that
get
they're
it?
selling smut?
I mean,
There's children in there.
yeah, that hasn't stopped anyone else in the past.
Not in Las Vegas.
Yes. So that's it for us. Tomorrow is May Days as well. Tomorrow is a week away from the Millvale Music Festival, so come check that out May 13th. We are happy to be a media sponsor of the event. And then also, we have Millvale May Days going on right now, and it will also continue into tomorrow. So come on down, check out some great businesses here in Millvale, and see everything the town has to offer. I'm back Monday morning, and again, we'll have Tara back as well. It'll be a good time, and we'll have Michael Cohen in again on Wednesday. We've got local music up next. You're listening to Pittsburgh's Voice for Local Music, The River's Edge.